What is going on, everybody? This is Derelius back with a brand new TV show review, and today's TV show review is going to be focused on Queen of the South. I will be focusing on the United States version of the show, as there are two different versions of this show: the Spanish version called La Reina del Sur, and the United States version, Queen of the South. Season 1 begins as Teresa Mendoza is a poor lady who was a money exchanger in Sinaloa, Mexico. And one night she meets a guy by the name of Guerrero, who is with his friends and his friend's girl, Chino and Brenda. And they kick it off really good. And long story short, Teresa and Guerrero become a couple. And as the years go by, Chino and Guerrero are becoming higher and higher as drug dealers by the right-hand man, by the boss, Epifano Vargas. And he has two sides to him, as he is a drug dealer on one side and also trying to run to be a politician on the other. And he has a wife by the name of Camila Vargas, and they have a daughter by the name of Isabel. And on one night, Camila and Epifano are arguing about something and how she is going to leave him to start her own drug empire. And Camila and Teresa see each other, no words exchanged. A couple of months later, during one drug dealing trip that went bad, Guerrero shows Teresa a book that could have potentially damaging evidence or could be her benefit as something huge. And he shows her how to shoot just in case she is ever forced to do it. And so one day Teresa is taking a bath and she gets a phone call, and Guerrero ever said if a phone ever rang from a certain phone that he gave her, something was bad. And the phone call basically said that Guerrero got killed and she had to get the hell out of Dodge. And so she tries to call Brenda and tell her that her, Tony, the son, and Chino need to get the hell out of Dodge because Epifano's right-hand man are coming, Pote and Gato. Pote and Gato are Epifano's Vargas's right-hand man, and they sadly take out Chino as they discover that he was basically stealing drugs from Epifano and selling them as his own. And Teresa, Tony, and Brenda, they all escape, only to get ambushed by Epifano's guys and everything. And they have to escape. They have to go on different paths. So Teresa, she goes to a safe house that her and Guerrero had just in case something like this will happen. And so we see that she gets assaulted by Gato. Assaulting a female is wrong altogether, and whoever does that needs a cut off. But still, something just drove Teresa to fight back. She shot the person in the mouth, I think, and she got the heck out of Dodge. She tries to see Epifano Vargas about the book and see if he could help her. He turns her down, and she's herself because she doesn't have anybody else to go to. And so while they're in the car about to go to whatever location, Teresa feels that something is wrong, and she takes out Epifano's driver and they crash. And then Teresa decides to walk until she finds something that can help. And she eventually makes it to a gas station that is located somewhere I assume is Mexico. And the person at the gas station helps her get better. And then one night, Teresa gets kidnapped by a couple of guys, and it's discovered that it was Camila Vargas's guys, as she is taken to freaking Dallas, Texas of the United States. And boy, Teresa is in a crazy ride. We see while she's at Camila's drug house with different ladies selling the drugs, making the drugs, that she is not welcomed at first. And she tries to prove to Camila that she could be more than just a drug dealer, more than just someone that's not relevant. And she has her first job immediately by helping exchange, giving somebody some drugs in a briefcase and not getting caught, as she has to freaking swallow drug packets and then throw it up. And it works. And other people at the drug house don't like her because they think that she should have gotten killed, but it doesn't matter. As time goes on, Teresa is starting to gain the trust of Camila Vargas and James, her right-hand man. And in some of the episodes, we see that she saves James from getting robbed of millions of dollars, almost gets arrested by the DEA, almost gets killed and everything numerous times. And meanwhile, Brenda and Tony have to find their way to the United States, and they do. And they reunite with Teresa. And at first, the reunite is not a good one, as she finds out that Teresa is working for Camila Vargas, wife of the man that had Chino killed. She's mad at them, but then Brenda realizes that she has to make a living for herself, and she decides to sell drugs. And it goes well at first, but then she has to stop. And so as time goes on, Teresa realizes that she has to return to Mexico to get that book, because that book contains valuable information that could potentially help her or kill her. And she gets the book, and long story short, Teresa tries to leave Camila, but she's not going for it. And it goes to the point that Teresa decides to leave with Brenda, and they decide to go to the locations that was in the book and see if they can get any help. And it backfires, as the people not only ambushes Teresa and Brenda, but they get kidnapped. And Teresa is taken to some sort of safe house where she meets Epifano Vargas, the man that has been trying to find her throughout the entire season. And it looks like she's about to get killed, but she gets her revenge on Gato once again by killing him instantly for what he did. And her and Pote have some sort of understanding, and they try to save Brenda. And once they make it to their location, it is sadly too late, as Brenda gets killed by the people that Teresa and Brenda was trying to make a deal with. And Teresa gets her revenge by killing the man instantly by putting him on the shirts in the newspaper many times. So then by the end of the first season, we see that Teresa and Pote are burying Brenda's body near somewhere. And by that point, Camila Vargas assumes she has everything under control. She thinks she's about to become the lady of the boss with all the drugs. But throughout the season, Epifano Vargas was becoming a more favorable person to win the elections. And so what he does, instead of giving his wife the power with all the drugs and all the drug dealers, he calls the ATF investigation, FBI or whatever, and all of it gets destroyed. And then by that point, Teresa and Camila, they make a deal with one another about the book. And long story short, everything seems fine. However, we see someone who is dressed up in a bush taking pictures of Camila, James, Teresa, and Pote, and it's being immediately uploaded somewhere, which I assume is the FBI site. And then the pictures are printed out and it gets shown to somebody. And the person it gets shown to is freaking Guerrero. Not only did he die, but he was actually saved by the FBI to become a snitch. And immediately he sells out to Teresa by saying who she is and what her name is. And that is the end of season 1. And when I saw that for the very first time, I shit you not, I was shocked as ever. I could not believe that he did that so crazy. He did that just like that. And I remember the reactions at the time too when it first premiered. Everybody was shocked at the ending. I was too. And that is the end of my season 1 review. And season 2 is up next.